This is Kevin DeAnna with WND, and the man I'm with needs no introduction. He's the subject of the new book, The Crusader, The Life in Tumultuous Times, of Pat Buchanan. And so, Pat, I wanted to ask, obviously the big thing that everybody's talking about today is your departure from MSNBC. There have been a lot of speculation about it over the last couple months. Right. Was this something they decided a long time ago, and you just announced it now, or when did this happen?
Well, I've been off MSNBC for 4 months, and the element of surprise there was when it continued after January 1, when I thought I'd be going to New Hampshire and things. But I came to the conclusion at that time that severance was coming, and so we worked it all out with MSNBC, and it was their decision, but it was acceptable to me, and so we departed. I think we departed on cordial terms, but departure it is.
Right. Did they offer you some sort of a deal where they said you could stay as long as you do X, Y, and Z? Some sort of, statement or something.
No, you don't
like
want. You wouldn't want. No, I really don't want to get into the terms of departure. But there was no. You can't put conditions on Pat Buchanan what he can say.
Certainly not.
Right.
Right. Well, a lot of what was discussed tonight with the book and everything else is the long-term impact of Buchananism. One thing is the founders of our website, actually, Joseph and Elizabeth Farah, met at one of your conferences. So WND is one.
That's marvelous.
One consequence.
I'm gonna have to take credit for that with Joe.
But I mean, I guess on everybody's mind now is what comes next. I mean, are other people approaching it?
Well, it's I wouldn't want to talk about that either. But basically, I'm sort of free now to speak and to broadcast on any network I wish, and it's a good freedom to have, and I kind of enjoy it. And to speak out, I regret in a lot of ways. I have a lot of friends at MSNBC, and as I said tonight, I felt like a missionary to the Iroquois over there, and so it's and a lot of them are good friends, and they've wished me well personally. And so I think that sort of chapter of your life is behind you. It's the longest job I've ever held in my life, but it's over, and so we're going to be moving forward now.
So is it liberating a little bit then?
It is a little liberating, I think. In the last 4 months, I really haven't been able to go out and speak because I'm under contract with MSNBC, and other than a book tour, which I sort of ended in mid-November because I had a little illness. I haven't been able to speak out on a lot of these issues on other cable networks, and I haven't been on MSNBC. So in that sense, as I said, the folks that are trying to silence me and try to get you taken off the air, they had something of a success that's undeniable. But I think they've also gotten themselves, or we've dragged them out into the open, so people can see them for what they are, which is fundamentally blacklisters, whose whole stock in trade is first to smear and stigmatize someone. He's a racist, he's a homophobe, he's something or else, without any hearing, and then to silence and censor and blacklist you. And I think the average American, whether he's liberal or conservative, is going to say, wait a minute, I don't agree with that guy, but I don't believe, in book burning, and I don't believe in denying people a hearing for their ideas, even if I disagree with them. It's sort of a natural American sentiment, and they're going against it.
Well, I did notice a lot of your colleagues in the media, including political opponents, people like Andrew Sullivan, you don't really think of as being on your side, but they were defending you today. And yet in your column you were talking about backroom pressure and things like that.
Well, that's what these folks do.
Right. Are you fundamentally optimistic that this is going to be overcome, or do you think this is a new era of the media where you just can't discuss certain things?
No, I talked to Sean Hannity and tonight, and what's interesting, look, my views have not really changed that much, and there's no doubt when I was with Nixon and we won 49 states, and with Reagan and we won 49 states, that those center-right views were really mainstream American views. And now the idea that there are these movements, these groups that can say not only are you outside the mainstream, but you're so extreme that these views are not allowed to be heard in America. That suggests there's a real movement in the center of gravity in the national dialogue. And I think more and more people are awakening to the fact, wait a minute, if someone like Pat Buchanan, whose views are well known, if he can be silenced and denied a hearing for his views, where's that going to take us and where is that leading us? So I think maybe some good's going to come out of this for the cause.
You think they made a mistake then?
No, even good for the cause, even if I'm lying on the field of battle.
Well, I got to ask, just because everybody's thinking it. I mean, where you go next is obviously up in the air. But do you have any more books in you thinking?
Well, I've got a contract to write one, and I hope Lord willing, I get the time and have the health to do it. Which is my right from the beginning book is about growing up in this whole area right where we are now.
Right.
And it stops when I meet Richard Milhouse Nixon in December of 1965, or rather, I went up for a long interview with him, 3 hours. It stops right there, so I thought I'd pick it up there and do the 8.5 years of my service with Richard Nixon for 3 years before he became president, 5.5 years, right there until that helicopter lifted off the lawn. I can still see it, as can my wife Shelley, who was with him in 1960.
Well, that's great. Pat Buchanan, it's a real honor. Thank you so much
for joining us. Thank you very much, and good luck. And say, tell Joe Farrow he owes me one.
I will.
All right.